Toppenish residents are speaking up and cleaning up.
They're joining people from many other local towns and cities that have begun to deal with the aftermath of the flood of '96. Good evening, I'm Dave Ettl.
And I'm Heather Hays. Thanks for joining us tonight on First at 5.
Well, sandbags, shovels, and good old-fashioned sweat, the tools of the day.
So many homes, towns, and people have been affected by these devastating floods. And first we're going to show you pictures from several spots around the valley, and then we're going to take you to Toppenish and show you the cleanup efforts that are happening there. But first, we head out to Ahtanum.
And we're on our way. Sandbags and haystacks are all over the Ahtanum area. Residents are still trying to combat the floodwaters, but so far they haven't been all that successful. As water stream through houses and into streets, residents can only watch the water flood their area and surround their homes. Roadsides are beginning to erode and streets are getting more and more narrow.
The Greenway has been hit for the second time. Pathways are going to have to be reconstructed. The floods have eroded away the original portion of the dike, and a crew member at the Yakima Greenway says this is one of the newest sections of the park. It's going to take the rest of the year to complete the reconstruction.
The flood also took its toll on our major highway, I-82. The raging waters took a bite out of I-82 south of the Canyon Road. This explains the traffic that was backed up on Friday. The crew members say that it's going to take about 3 weeks to get it reconstructed. The road going northbound has not been affected and will remain open. However, drivers going southbound will have to reroute through East Seal Road.
The Naches River Bridge near the junction of Highway 12 and Highway 14 is teetering near a collapse. Floodwaters washed out a major chunk of the eastern end of the bridge. The Washington State Department of Transportation says that damage will cost more than $1 million. A Bailey Bridge is being transported to replace this one. And they're hoping to have it open by next weekend. Construction crews are trying to block off the floods to start repairing the road on Highway 12. Crew members say the water has risen more than 10 feet of its normal level.
There's the other ones that are worse. 410 one's out a little farther than this. Then we have another one down by the firing center. It's a little harder because they can't detour traffic as easy as this area.
And they're expecting that it will be another 3 weeks before the highway is open again.
And a bridge near White Swan remains closed tonight. The Mud Lake Drain Bridge on Fort Road will be torn down and rebuilt. Pilings for the bridge partially gave way after last Friday's flooding, resulting in the pavement cracks that you see here. No word yet on when the reconstruction will begin.
Well, meanwhile, the city of Prosser is having water troubles. 3 food processing plants are shut down, and residents are being asked to cut back on both water and sewer use. High floodwaters washed away 2 of the 3 sewer lines that carry wastewater to the city's treatment plant. One line was used for industrial wastewater, and the other was a domestic sewage standby line. The engineers are now trying to figure out how much industrial waste can be diverted on the residential line. They're also looking at the construction of a temporary line. Well, a lot of Lower Valley residents took the day off today to continue cleaning up after all this flooding.
No kidding. First at 5, Steve Clutterbuck spent some time today at Toppenish, and we join him now live in the newsroom.
Heather, Dave, I was surprised at how much the river has receded over the last 24 hours. You don't see a whole lot of water standing on the ground anymore, but that means a lot of people were out cleaning up the mess. Neighbors of this Toppenish trailer park took the day off today to clean up the mess that the flood of '96 gave them, a flood that took many by surprise.
Telling my wife that we don't have nothing to worry about. It ain't going to come this far. There's people out there sandbagging.
That's what I thought, too.
But I went down the corner and seen that water coming about a half a block away, and it's like, geez, is it still going to hit us? A half hour later, it was here at our front door.
Most of the damage happened to homes and businesses on the east side of Toppenish, near the river. And even though this trailer park is about a half-mile away from that same river, it got hit hard, and it will take some time to clean it up.
The cleanup here ain't done. There's still a week. There's a week or 2 worth of cleanup here to do.
Unfortunately for the owners of this new complex on Lincoln Street, it's going to be a while before their cleanup can begin because there's still 2 to 3 feet of water still on the ground.
Although many people experienced tragedy and loss this weekend, they will forever talk of the flood of '96 and how it brought a community together.
The community pitched in, and even as bad as they make the little gang sound, you know, they were here for everybody.
They did help.
They were, yeah.
Yeah. There was no such thing as colors or whatever. Everybody was pitching in. Really nice.
It was really gratifying to see so many people today talk about how what a warm feeling there was in Toppenish with all the people working together to clean up the mess. And Toppenish wasn't the only Lower Valley city to begin cleaning. County workers were out appraising damaged roads and bridges in Wapato today, and so was a supervisor from a local produce processing plant. You see, the flooded Yakima River carried nearly 1,000 fruit bins away. He says it will take many weeks to round up the bins.
At least a month, minimum of a month. And the more we get into it, the more people will bring on to it. Right now we're just looking to see what it's going to take to get all these out. We use our tractors, our forklifts, and availability of equipment to get them.
Audrey says the bins were carried, 1,000 bins were carried nearly over a 4-mile stretch, and he said at $40 a bin, that's a lot of money. Heather and Dave?
Steve, so far in talking to the different residents and different people in Toppenish, have you run across any dollar estimates yet of what, I mean, we've looked at timelines already, but what is this going to cost everybody?
That is going to be something that is going to take some time. Right now, all the assessing will be done probably for the next week or so, and County Assessor Dan Hesse is looking at that, and hopefully, again, a week or two we'll have some numbers on it. Too premature at this point.
So in a week or two we'll have the numbers, but in the meantime, 4 to 6 weeks then to clean up everything.
And to still zigzag around the highways. The highway is a confusing maze unless you know just what detours to take. We've got some updated information for you as of 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now, I-82 is closed between Granger and the junction with US 97 at Union Gap. Now, if you're heading toward Union Gap, a permanent detour has been constructed, and it will remain like this for the next few weeks. On Interstate 82 headed southbound, all lanes are closed at the Yakima Training Center. Northbound lanes are now open at Rest Haven Road. On US 12 Naches, the roadway is closed at the Naches River Bridge. Washington State Patrol says to expect delays on most roads. And when you come to measure the rivers, the numbers at last are at least on the encouraging side.
That's right. They are starting to go down around central Washington. The major rivers are, the numbers, like you said, going down. Chris Kennedy is down at the Yakima River. Chris, what are the levels out there?
Well, Dave and Heather, if you needed to have some visual proof, right there it is, the Yakima River down here at Saratoga Landing. It is inside of its banks, kind of a pleasant scene. Now, as we look around central Washington at the major rivers, the Yakima River is measured just down the way, down at Parker. And this afternoon, it measured in at even on the 10-foot flood stage. Now, just to the northwest of us, the Naches River comes into the Yakima River. It's measured up at Naches. It was at 1/10 of an inch over its 17-foot flood stage. Now, as this water moves past, it is, as you can see, beginning to reduce the risk that we're looking at. But as it gets downstream and joins into the Columbia, whole different story. Now, the Columbia River is causing major problems still down in the Portland area. And in Portland, the Columbia is about 7 feet above flood stage. As the water drops, there are some reminders, though. It is still very hazardous. As we've just seen in the several reports, it can be very difficult if you're driving. So you need to be very careful. Lots of potholes have shown up, and drivers be prepared for all those reroutings. Well, as you can see, beautiful sunlit afternoon. Let's go ahead and take our first look for this Monday afternoon. As we look around central Washington, mostly high 30s is what we're reporting. Feels great outside. Sunset coming at 5:21 this afternoon, and the barometer currently dropping off a little. Dave and Heather?
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. It was another gorgeous day, again, contrasting all the floods that we've got out there. And when we come back, we're going to have more on the flood cleanup from around the region.
And we'll have some tips for developing a better relationship with your child.
People are also trying to stop a different kind of fallout from the floods. This water intake plant near Oregon City sits below a steep hill where mudslides have already occurred. So crews moved in today to start cutting down trees that could become a part of the slide. And that could potentially crash into the water plant, which serves close to 40,000 people. And they're afraid that that does come down, that the water plant will be taken out. And in downtown Oregon City, one grocery store had 7-foot waves moving through it at the peak of the floods. So like everywhere else, rubber boots are the shoe of choice.
Folks in Seattle are also picking up the pieces, and like those in Oregon City, they're starting by cutting down trees. At least a dozen trees slid down this hillside today, blocking traffic on the road below, causing a lot of inconvenience. The trees are sliding down the hills with the mudslides, which doesn't necessarily worry homeowners living below the hill. The Seattle Department of Engineers is more worried about those driving below a potentially dangerous area that could be caught off guard in their cars by falling trees.
Well, turning to other news this evening, ask any mom or dad and they'll tell you their biggest challenge in life isn't their career. Most parents say raising kids takes the most work, energy, and time compared to any job. The water